This is question 3 on your Christmas test. Starts off with some nice easy sims where you don't have to multiply either of the equations. Just make one up here. X minus y is equal to 10. Actually, I'll change that to 8. And then x plus y is equal to 10. So with these ones, when we already have the same coefficient with the y's here, they're about 1. They have different signs, so we add the two lines together, we get x plus x. The y's cancel to be 0, so 2x ends up being 18. So the answer comes to these ones really quickly. X is 9, and if x is 9, you can say therefore y is equal to 9 minus y is equal to 8, so 1, or 9 plus 1 is equal to 10. So you can see that it works in both cases. How simultaneous equations get a little bit harder. You might have to multiply one of the equations to get the same coefficient. So if I set this one up to be the x being the same coefficient, or the y, I can do x plus 2y equals minus 12. And I could do 4x. Actually, I'll just do 2 as well and show you don't have to use the y's. Let's say this is equal to 0. If I multiply line 2 by 2, I'm going to get 8x plus 4y is equal to 0. And then if I bring the other line down and add these two lines together, I'll get 4y plus 2y is 6y equals minus 12. So y is equal to minus 12 over 6, or minus 2. And if y is equal to minus 2, take one of the equations, 4x plus 2y, 2 by minus 2, equals 0. So we're going to get 4x minus 4 is equal to 0. 4x is equal to 4, so x is equal to 1. So you decide which equation to multiply. It should be fairly obvious which one to use. The next part of this question deals with solving quadratic equations. Two of them will be factorable, or you can factorize them, something along the lines of x squared minus 9 equals 0. You could write x squared is equal to 9 for this one. So that would make x 3. Well, it actually makes it plus or minus 3. You could also factorize it as the difference of two squares from junior cert, x minus 3 by x plus 3. And then if we let x minus 3 equal 0, you can see it just changes to plus 3. X will be plus 3. And if x plus 3 is 0, the solution here is minus 3. So two different ways to do that one. If we get one that can factorizes, let's say x squared minus x minus 20 is equal to 0. So if you factorize this, two numbers that multiply to give 20 and add or subtract to give this term in the middle, minus 1. You can see, hopefully you see it's 5 and 4, x by x, 5 and 4. We want minus x, so it has to be minus 5 and plus 4. In this bracket, you could write it out the long way, x plus 4 equals 0, x equals minus 4, x minus 5 equals 0, x equals plus 5. So you're going to get two that are you can factorize, and then two that will say one decimal place or two decimal places, which tells you, without telling you, that you have to use the quadratic formula or the minus b formula. So the quadratic f, you all know it off by heart, I think, at this point. Minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all divided by 2a. So I'll just do one example for this. Let's say we have the quadratic x squared, one that obviously doesn't factorize, plus 2x minus 10. You can see here there's no numbers that multiply to give 10 and add to give 2. But if I've told you, write down what a, b and c are before you start. A is the coefficient of x squared, 1. B is plus 2 and c is minus 10. So we get, I've actually also told you to do the b squared minus 4ac part first on its own. It just becomes a bit neater. So we have the square root of 2 squared minus 4 by a by c, which is minus 10. This is going to be 4 plus 40 inside the square root. So it's the square root of 44. So we get minus b minus 2 plus the square root of 44 over 2 times a, 2 ones are 2. And you get minus 2 minus the square root of 44 over 2. So type these into your calculator and get used to rounding to 1 dp and 2 dp. And the quadratic formula question should be one that you're absolutely going to get maximum marks in.